Right on. Right on. Here we go. Let me see. Okay, we got that out of the way now. We got that out of the way. How you doing today, Josiah? How you doing today?
Man, I'm excited to be here. I
All right.
always like getting to talk to you, even if it's just for a bit. I
Okay.
have to clarify with everything that could be construed as legal advice. This is not legal advice to whomever's out there listening in their situation. This is just sort of the law, how the law can play out, how it should play out. And police always are going to do whatever they want. I deal with it every day. Police behaving badly. So this is how you can best react and things you can say that can help you in certain situations, and just things to keep in your back pocket to know it will be okay. That if certain things happen, there's ways out of it. So while most of my work with you is on expungements, I love expungements because that's a guaranteed way to help someone get their life back on track. Whereas in Indiana law, in small counties, you walk in there, and even though the law's on your side, you walk out with the loss, have to appeal it, and it can take over a year for these simple rights we're about to talk about to actually be effectuated. But as long as people know their rights, they can sleep better. It's called the cloud of anxiety that happens when you're charged with a crime. Well, that cloud of anxiety is much less if you
Okay.
know it's going to be okay.
Okay. All right. Great. Great. Well.
So you start and you see police lights behind you. Has that ever happened?
Okay.
No good.
All
So
right.
the police lights to have activated, there has to be what's called reasonable suspicion. So there's lawyer phrases that whenever I'm talking to my clients, I like for them to stop me and pause me if they're at all confused. So Darren, I'm going to encourage you whenever you could possibly interrupt, please do.
Okay.
So there's essentially three different phrases you need to know. It's reasonable suspicion, probable cause, and proof beyond a reasonable doubt. Proof beyond a reasonable doubt, we know from TV, that comes up at trial.
Okay.
That's, hey, jury, are you really, really sure? I would say if I had a percentage, I'd say 97% sure. Like, do you feel good about this to the extent other doubts aren't going to creep up too heavily? Now, if anyone comes in and testifies against you, that's enough for proof beyond a reasonable doubt. So it's a little scary when people say, hey, there's no proof. It's all she did was say this happened, right? That at trial is proof beyond a reasonable doubt.
Oh, wow.
Now, if you know someone's called in, if you're being stopped because someone's called in, let's say you just had a fight, right? You just were kicking ass, or you just got into something and someone's called in. If you know that there's been a call, that can be a reasonable suspicion to stop you if they give their identification, right? So you're in this weird situation where you've been wrongfully stopped if no one gave their name. So you don't know what's going on, but at that point, you're scared. You don't know whether you've been lawfully stopped.
Okay. So if I'm driving and I just get stopped, they don't say anything. They just stop me and they walk up to me.
They're probably not going to say much. They're going to ask for your license, registrations, and identification to tell if you are the guy that they're looking for.
Okay.
Now, the most common situation isn't this call, right? The most common situation is a traffic infraction.
Right.
So what's reasonable suspicion of a traffic infraction? It's, did police see it, or did someone call it in who's giving their name? I deal with this most often in OVWIs, where people call in. And I don't say my mouth waters because that sounds like just a classic defense attorney. But I'm pleased if what I hear is an anonymous person called in and said that this person was swerving. And then police officers don't see swerving. Well, then all you have is an anonymous tip. And why we don't like anonymous is because if someone's just lying on you, which happens all the time to people, people make enemies, right? So if someone's just lying on you, you can't go back and punish them for perjury if they're anonymous. So then whenever there's an anonymous tip, police are looking for a little bit more.
Right.
So, but if a police officer sees you swerving, he's going to pull you over. And
Right.
Darren, the
And don't
road
we get to face our accusers? I mean, that's like one of our rights, isn't it?
well, that's going to be at trial,
Okay,
right?
all right.
After you've had that cloud of anxiety for 6 months to a year.
Okay.
And the state's always going to drag their feet. I always have to walk my clients through this. By the time, we'll just fast forward a second. By the time you're charged, you're one of 400 people that prosecutor is dealing with if you're in Marion County. They do not care about you.
Right.
When I bombard them, asking them for all the evidence, so police in Marion County will wear, if these are indie people watching, they'll wear body cams. Now, if you're in Martinsville, they're backward, right? They have Confederate flags painted all over town. It's a horrible, horrible place. I hope no one from Martinsville is watching. But there's no body cams. So police can just come in and lie on you whenever they want. I just had to deal with it in a suppression hearing where it was just not what happened. We have one person saying, hey, this happened. So you're stopped there and you say, hey, this happened. And you'll have police come in and they're always going to paint themselves in the best light. So it's also careful to remember, try to travel through big cities. Don't go through small towns. They're less likely. When I'm in a small town, I am nailing the speed limit.
Mm-hmm.
I am hitting it because this is reasonable suspicion of speeding is 5 miles per hour over the speed limit.
Okay.
So that's where I used to get these major felony cases when I was working for the state, where you would have cops tend to target. I mean, if you're white and look suspicious, if you have dreadlocks, I have dreadlock clients who they got pulled over when they're going the pace of traffic. But honestly, it happens most, and I can't comment on the struggle other than I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
My black clients will get stopped going 5 over.
Right. Yes, they avoid the sundown town at all costs.
Right. No, and even when it's not, it's what happens most is they're seen leaving a house that's under suspicion. And they are stopped going 5 over, and they say pace of traffic, flow of traffic. Darren, that doesn't exist. The flow of traffic is urban legend. Mm-hmm. And they will stop you for going 5 over. So if you ever have any suspicion on like anything that you don't want police to see, you are nailing that speed limit. If you're going under that suspicious, if you're going 5 over, they can stop you for anything. So police come up, stop you. They start asking you questions. Now you're at this horrible place where you say, do I assert my rights? If I do, the cop's going to be all over me. And the cop is allowed to get a dog to you in what's called a reasonable amount of time. Well, that could mean anything. To me, reasonable amount of time is the second he talks to me, I want to be out. So you get 2 seconds.
Right. Courts
define a reasonable amount of time more at like 15 to 25 minutes. The time it takes an average officer to write you an average ticket, whatever they've stopped you for. So while you're sitting there and they're asking you, do you want to consent to these things? The best thing to say is, I'm in a rush. I'm so sorry, but I have to get to this place. It's very important to me that you get to talk to me whenever you need to. And this limited thing, like if you stop me for speeding, officer, I'm sorry about speeding, but I can't talk to you about anything else because I have to come up with somewhere that you can support. I mean, hopefully you're actually going somewhere. Right. I have to go to visit my mom. She's waiting for me. I have to pick her up. She'll be very nervous. Mm-hmm. I have to go pick up my kids. Something that's believable, right? Don't say, and I've had cases like this, oh, I have to get back to Holiday World. And they're driving the opposite direction of Holiday World. Why is that what came out of your mouth? It needs to be polite. Mm-hmm. And they were scared because they had like a pound of heroin. So try not to look terrified. I know when you got that pound of, when anyone has a pound of heroin on them, they're gonna be scared. Yeah. Sweating bullets, not good. Right. And if you can't come up with where you need to be immediately, that's believable. I mean, flags go off. You have to sort of control the situation, control your whole demeanor, so you appear calm, but you have somewhere to be, and you're sorry, and you respect their time. But that way, an officer is gonna have a dog. If he really wants to get a dog there. Right. In that 20 minutes. So if he offers, you say, if you can get it here while you're writing the ticket, that's fine. But I need to be on my way. But you cannot say that you'll wait, because the moment you wait, you've consented. And there's it's another legend called, this is the legal legend, not an urban legend, the consensual encounter, where you're agreeing to talk to police. Now, this doesn't come up in the stops because when you're stopped, you are forced to have been stopped. That's reasonable suspicion there. But if you're walking down the street and police stop you and they want to talk to you, they think you're a little suspicious, or they've gotten an anonymous call and they don't actually have reasonable suspicion to keep you. If they start talking about crimes and you're responding, that's considered a consensual encounter, even if they're using a demanding tone and you would think you would never be able to leave. So the test there is, how many officers are there? Are you blocked in? What exactly are they saying? But man, I've handled these cases for the state on major felonies, and I can't believe what they would get away with.
Wow.
Calling them consensual encounters. So whenever police are talking to you, if you're on foot, first thing you do is say, I gotta go. I'm so sorry. I have to get to this place. And then you'll know.
Right.
That happened to me in college. I was in a dorm room I shouldn't have been in. And I was just like, I'm so sorry. I have to get to class. Right. So it's always being polite, not nervous. You don't know anything about anything that's going on. Police are looking for clues. And police, I hope they don't watch this and see me and hate me. Police hate me around town. Okay. So I probably don't need to be worried.
Yeah.
But they are trying to judge everyone, right? Like all these movements on not judging, no, lost on police. Like they are trying to ascertain from your movements, your eyes, where you're looking, where contraband is. Every time there's a police encounter, they are looking for contraband. You have to understand that is all they're doing. So don't look nervously around. If you have contraband on you, just forget it. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's like you're coming home from church, man. So police are judging constantly what you're doing. You have to control. You have to be the actor in the situation. So when they pull up, you're not nervous. Now that's easier said than done. I've been stopped a bunch of times.
Right.
It's the thing where I do like to drive fast. And so they've got me. And I want to assert my rights, but most innocent, truly innocent people aren't asserting them. So that's why you have to have a place to go. So when a cop would ask me, right, I've been out of law school a while now, but let's say I'm in undergrad and they stopped me. This has happened. And I know I have nothing on me. Search away, man. Bring the dog. And they don't even bring the dog. But
I got a funny story about that. I had a funny story. Something like that happened to me in college.
You said bring the dog and they didn't bring it?
No, they brought the dog, and the dog ate it ended up eating my Easter dinner.
Oh, dude, that's dirty.
Yeah. They said, "Oh, we got the dog." The dog said, like, the dog went off. The dog went off, and I was like, "What do you mean the dog went off?" And it was
Easter dinner.
Yeah.
Dude, I could have guessed that. You wouldn't have anything bad. You're too good a guy.
Yeah.
No, but really, I've seen too many times people getting stopped at times they wouldn't think they get stopped. So reasonable suspicion is a big thing I want people to take away. It's if I'm going 5 over, they can stop me and they're going to ask to bring the dogs. And I'm going to say, I have to be somewhere, but please, whatever time it takes for you to write the ticket, I understand you need to do that, but I cannot wait around for a dog. That's it. That's all you can do.
That's what you said.
You have no rights in a car. Your rights in a house are much greater. Now, I just had a case in the Indiana Supreme Court that my name's not technically on because I left the office for defense work right before the opinion came out. But it was about when officers can get into your house. And they smell marijuana from outside. This is new Indiana law. Well, debatably new, but it just went up to the Indiana Supreme Court. So it's really now in officers' purview. If they smell marijuana on your front step, they can get a warrant to search that whole house. Whole house. Warrants are supposed to be particularized. Tough word to say. Particularized.
Yeah, but now it's just wide open. You can just, it's a general.
Well, but they say marijuana you can keep anywhere, so it doesn't need to be particular. It just is, we'll go in your wife's underwear drawer if we want to. We smell marijuana. Something that's not even like in Marion County. They're only going to use that if they think that you have a bunch of other stuff. Right. They think there's guns in the house. Well, they're still allowed to use the marijuana laws in Marion County. Just under prosecutorial discretion, they often don't.
Yeah, I heard that. I read that in Marion County that it's almost like a catch and release thing now with with
Yeah,
how they're treating
yeah,
them.
I'll have that in Marion County, catch and release. But in Johnson County, which is right next door, they're offering max sentence.
Wow.
Max sentences. It's like the exact same thing. It's different worlds.
Hmm.
You go county to county in Indiana, all you can guarantee is that the police are going to be in your business. What you can't guarantee is who has the body cams, and I can get a hold of that body cam and grill him.
Yeah.
Right. So if a client police report says he didn't stop at the stop sign, so I stopped him and I found all this contraband, give me the cam. Give me the cam. And if there's no cam, just let me at him. Let me talk to him. I'm going to be nice at first, and it's going to be great, and he's going to feel good about himself, and he's going to let me know what really happened. Now, that takes some skill because cops want to paint themselves in the best light possible.
Right.
It's like, honestly, it's called a deposition. You have to befriend these people and then walk them into the truth step by step. But so real quickly, we covered first, if you're stopped in the car, best thing to do is put on that face, don the face of innocence,
Uh-huh.
and be very respectful, but you have somewhere to be that's believable.
Hmm.
Say whatever you need to do to write the ticket or anything. I encourage them to get that ticket out of there if you actually have something illegal on you. Don't be trying to argue about a ticket because it gives them more time to bring the dogs in. Whatever you need to do, I'm in a rush.
Yeah.
And I'm very sorry. And if they ask to bring the dogs, say, of course, like if the dog shows up, you can have it search my car. You can have it sniff. But if not, like I need to go. I am not waiting around. So then they're probably going to make you wait around anyway because cops don't know the law very well. But you will at least have on camera, especially if it's in Marion County, it's a violation of your Fourth Amendment to hold you that long.
Okay.
So and then if you're on foot, you just immediately say you have a lot more rights on foot, right?
Okay.
It just holds you. That's when they're coming up to you. It's a consensual encounter because they haven't just witnessed you commit a traffic infraction. You say, I got to go.
Yeah.
Think of Josiah in college. Whenever cops are around, I got to go, man. I'm a good student.
Yeah.
I'm an A student.
I'm ready to leave for class, man.
Yeah.
I got a finite math test, man.
So
Great.
it's always just this isn't even legal, but be pleasant, right? Have that game face on. It's so many times people will call me telling me how well they did in these police encounters. Then I get the cam footage and they're sweating bullets, man. So I know it's scary. I mean, I can't actually imagine how scary it is for certain people at certain times, right? You said the phrase sundown town. Like if you're in Martinsville at midnight and all you've done is just left your girlfriends and you're getting badgered by police, I don't know that pain. And I probably wouldn't be able to keep that face. But my advice is if you can keep that face, you do.
Yeah.
You are the master of yourself. Just think of it as pull yourself out of the world. You're 1,000 feet up, down, looking at yourself, and you're an actor because that is what you have to do. And hopefully you can because police are looking for anything, you can get them to send you on your way with a ticket. And my wife's pretty, so she gets, what's it called? Warnings. I don't even know what they're called because I don't.
I got the dog ate my dinner.
We get the dog and the ticket. So, all right. Well, I feel like that's good. I'd love to come back and talk more, but we can get more into actual specific situations. I love case law, man. That was my job as a deputy attorney general. And your rights are always changing a little bit, right? Like I'm talking generalized terms right now to give people universal advice.
Right.
Advice that works every time, but you're always stopped for different reasons, right? We were kind of talking about people calling in on you earlier. So you can have an idea of when police stop you, what's actually enough to stop you. And when police search your car, what is probable cause, right? More than reasonable suspicion, and it's less than or beyond a reasonable doubt. But it's, I mean, honestly,
still a wide.
Courts, I will have courts yelling at me about the difference between reasonable suspicion and probable cause in ways that totally unveils that they have no idea. Because what they'll do is they'll act like it's preponderance of the evidence, which I'm sounding like a law nerd now, which is just above 50%, but it's actually way lower than that.
Yeah.
But if I'm defense counsel, I'm like, oh yeah, hell yeah. Preponderance of the evidence. Let's do it. So it's really just knowing what police have to show and when should give you peace in these nightmarish encounters. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome.
Anything I can do, if anyone ever wants to chat, I mean, I just love to talk to people about their lives. So I'm always happy to help. I wouldn't charge anybody. So if anyone ever reaches out to you, just let me know. And they don't even need a case,
Okay.
right? I
All
take
right.
coffee with anybody, anytime. Young lawyers like to reach out to me a lot. I always mentor clerks. If anyone wants to talk about the life,
Yeah.
I'm
You
around.
guys, you guys definitely know how to get in touch with me, and I'll make sure to get you in touch with Josiah.
Yeah.
And of course, he's with Indiana Expungements. So if you have an old arrest, an old DUI, anything like that, or just something like that you want to talk about, you might have a question. If you could get it off your record, because you want to move on, you want to move on with your life. Definitely, Indiana Expungements is where you need to be. So
Hey, thank you, Darren. I appreciate it.
no problem. Thank you. All right, and let's do this going out thing. Make sure I got it right. One
I was
last.
thinking last night about this case and their theory and how it didn't make any sense and how it didn't fit and how something is wrong. It occurred to me how they were going to come here and stand up here and tell you how O.J. Simpson was going to disguise himself. Was going to put on a knit cap and some dark clothes, and he was going to get in his white Bronco and this recognizable person and go over and kill his wife. That's what they want you to believe. That's how silly their argument is. And I said to myself, maybe I can demonstrate this graphically. I'm going to show you something. This is a knit cap. I'm going to put this knit cap on. And you've been seeing me for a year. If I put this knit cap on, who am I? I'm still Johnny Cochran with a knit cap. And if you look at O.J. Simpson over there, and he has a rather large head, O.J. Simpson in a knit cap from 2 blocks away is still O.J. Simpson. It's no disguise. It's no disguise. It makes no sense. It doesn't fit. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.